Hello, welcome to another fanfiction review. It is I, Dark5777, and two in a row. Happy about that. I hope I can keep the momentum going. Yeah, uh, to me, even if I get like no views, no nothing. I mean, I'm happy that I'm doing this as something of a retreat to calm myself, to do something other than reading and being yelled at and stuff like that. And I love fanfiction. And there are some fan fictions that just go above and beyond the Call of Duty, and this is one of them. Last episode, I actually did a review on Fusion of Destinies, a Harry Potter slash Metroid crossover. This is the sequel. This is the second part of a trilogy. Yet the author hasn't started the third story, which means this is as far as I'm gonna get until I finish the Bones one, which is still quite a ways away. This story is Fusion of Destinies 2: Day of Reckoning. And you know how much everything I said about I love about Fusion of Destinies 1? This is everything the author made about Fusion of Destinies that was good, cranked it up to 11, and made this. This is bar none my personal favorite crossover. Just bar none. My favorite crossover. Like my favorite straight up singular fan fiction non crossover is Better Off Alone by Great Chicken Miasma, which is a Mario fic. It's really sad. It's a really emotional story, and I would recommend that. I may review that story in the future. Tell me what you think. But this would have to be my favorite crossover because it's just so amazing. It's like I wonder. It's like I loved Fusion of Destinies 1, but I figured it's like there's some things that the author did good, but he can do better. He or she can do better. I mean, I want to see it, the whole idea pushed to the extreme, and this is that extreme when I don't think Fusion of Destiny 3 when that eventually starts because the author is still going through like some backlogs of ideas that he or she want to do. Will live up to the story. As always, this is my opinion. Link to the story will be in the description. Please like, subscribe. Please comment what you think of the story, and I might as well just start speaking this because I keep forgetting it. There will be spoilers for the story in the video, so please read watch this, read the stuff. God dang it, I keep mistaking watch. Sorry, read the story first. First off, let's start with the plot. Let's start with what I did with in the first story. Timeline wise, this happens about a year after the events of Fusion Destinies 1 in Harry Potter's point of view. So it's well into I think year 6, which I think is the Half-Blood Prince. However, for Samus, we kind of get like a really weird story because she literally just gets back, then told, "Oh, you have to head back." All right, I'm here for a couple. She's literally back in her time. Samus went back to her time for literally a cup of coffee. Like, oh, I have to go back. Damn it, and goes back. So she goes back to Hogwarts. So the plot is it's really over the top, but it's over the top in a good way. So we're introduced to this new character called Valkyrie. She's an ex-Aura with a grudge against Voldemort, and is trying to up him. So, and basically, she shows up one day, starts beating the crap out of Voldemort, saying, "Oh, we want to save the world," and offers Harry Potter position in her forces to help the peace and everything. Harry Potter says, "I don't trust you." Nope, nope, no. I know I'm not getting. I know I'm not getting all the facts right, but I like this story so much. I'm gonna try and mention as little as possible, with the exception of Valkyrie. Spoiler alert: she's my favorite part of the whole story. And I'm gonna save that for a little later. But I want to try at least mention as little as the actual plot as possible, and talk about the plot as large. So basically, Valkyrie is something of an enigma. She's very well done, and the whole plot is Harry, Ron, not only Ron, but the two Ron's older brothers. I'm drawing a blank on their names. So the older brothers who played all the pranks in Book 5, who run the prank shop. I can't remember. I can't for the life of me remember their names. I can't remember. And Hermione, they all go to have to stop Valkyrie from doing what she's doing. Oh, while finding out that Hogwarts was all these Wizarding Worlds were actually helped out by the Chozo, which I think is a really nice touch of connecting the Metroid timelines and the Harry Potter timelines and keeping them canon because with Dumbledore gone and like the old guard really gone except for I think Voldemort, there's really not a lot to really go into the lore of how the Wizarding World large, how they advanced so fast, what were the like, hidden secrets they had, more importantly, the founders of the four clans. Also, it's kind of a departure because the fact, unlike all the other kind of villains in Harry Potter fandom, this one's a Raven. As far as I know, Valkyrie is a Ravenclaw, not a Slytherin, which I thought was a nice touch because I consider myself a Ravenclaw because I'm very intelligent and diligent, sort of. Um, while they find back on track. Sorry, I have to keep doing this off the cuff because I can't do scripts because it makes me sound so fake. While finding out the origins of how some of the stuff happens in the background of Hogwarts so long ago, which I thought was a really nice touch because we know the Chozo were a warful species, but then they kind of became peaceful when they realized this is getting us nowhere. Let's just explore the peace and everything. And of course, they made the Metroid, which was created to stop the X parasites and everything, and everything, so on and so forth. All while trying to stop Valkyrie from completing her plans. I love the plot. It's a really complex plot. There's lots of plot points because Snape defects. Valkyrie's the mystery of who Valkyrie is and how she did everything that comes amongst the story. Every Samus and I'm gonna say Fred because I'm just guessing because I know they're twins. I just can't remember their names, or at least the other one's name I can't remember. They kind of start getting a crush on each other, which is kind of weird, but it's written really well. Oh, sorry about that. So I can't really complain aside from the fact it came completely out of left field. But I liked it anyway, especially since the third story is going to take place in Samus's world instead of Harry's world, which thank God for that. Everything the plot does, like I said from the first story, I like the plot, but it felt a little too much like Metroid Fusion. But again, this is taking everything the plot from Fusion 1 had and expanding it and multiplying it and three-dimensioning it. I know I'm talking stuff about my ass, but yeah, what do you want to do? It's layered, it's articulate, it's really, really well done. I'm not talking too much about the plot because I really want to get into certain character, you know who. Character development. There is a lot of good, unique characters. There's the generals of Valkyrie. There's more developing of mostly on Samus because the author kind of made Samus kind of the same except for the author. It wasn't really a bad thing. It's just with how the story was structured. I kind of figured Samus wasn't going to get that much character development, which I was okay with. But she really got more development here, along with all the other characters. I do like the generals. They are Harry's aunt. I'll get a little bit into that. Moni Myrtle in a human body. An ex a vampire chick. I'm trying to figure out how to describe the guy who did the two wands. I guess her adopted son who had a lobotomy and is able to use two wands at once, which I thought is a really cool idea, especially since it's kind of done in a realistic way. You know, you don't know what working on the brain will cause, and since it's a wizard, you know, anything could happen. The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that is how the other two went out, the vampire and the son. I thought their second fight when they were in the tank was kind of anticlimactic. I figured what they were going for because you know they're not exactly at 100%, but anything's kind of better than just than kind of the complete curb stomp that I was expecting. It's still not bad. It's just I was more thinking that's it, expecting something more, anything more. It's not bad. It's just kind of anticlimactic in my eyes. Valkyrie, I want to get more into her when I talk about her, my favorite part, but Valkyrie is an amazing character. She's bar none the reason why reading the entire story was really worth it. And again, I'm not going to go too into her. I'm going to save that for later. But she was a really, really unique character with a unique spin on her her character archetype. And I'll leave it at that. I'll talk about it a little bit. Grammar, just like the first story, I didn't see any grammar errors, so let's leave all that. Pacing and imagery. Imagery was fine. I love the new locations, the swampy, half underwater Slytherin there, the Ravenclaw slash Skytown hybrid because honestly, when I played the Metroid Prime trilogy, because the only Metroid games I played were the Prime trilogy, Hunters, Other M, and I played a little bit of Super Metroid. And my favorite level was Skytown of the whole trilogy, so I was like seeing the entire kind of like a wizardy version of Skytown was just a phenomenal image because I imagined everything kind of like Skytown but had a little more older edge to it, and I thought that's really really amazing. The underground maze of Hufflepuff and of course the fire trials for Gryffindor. The underwater base was fine. Everything was all the battles, all the characters, they're all paced immaculate. They're all imagined beautifully. It's like just like the first story. This one you're literally reading a movie, and that is just phenomenal. It's amazing. I have nothing to say about that. Pacing, I thought the pacing was off the charts, just like the first story. Like I said, he took all the best parts of the first story and cranked them up to 11, made this. Now, can you get emotional investment? Because you know what? I'm actually considering getting rid of emotional investment slash connection to genre because I think that's kind of being redundant. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Should I get rid of it? Should I keep it? Should I switch it with something else? Because I'm thinking of just leaving the first four by itself. I may just keep emotional investment. How invested can you get? How easily invested can you get in the story? But I don't know. It's just like the first story. It's adventure sci-fi. I honestly think this story should have been adventure fantasy because it steals more in magical stuff. And more of the fantasy elements than sci-fi. It has a fair share of sci-fi, but I honestly think this one should have been for this one, sci-fi should have been switched with fantasy because it kind of focuses more on the fantasy aspect than the sci-fi aspect of the first story. Because it's more a meshing of Harry's world and Samus's world in terms of the lore. And I really, really love that. Sci-fi is fine for what it is because it's still a great sci-fi story, but I think fantasy would honestly just be a better fit. Connection to genre. As soon as you meet Valkyrie, as soon as you read that part when Valkyrie's introduced, you're hooked based on her character alone. She is a very, again, I'm not going to go too into her, at least a little bit. About to go into her. So, favorite part and what I recommend. First off, let me say this. Hell yes, would I recommend this story. This is I mean what I say. This is bar none my favorite crossover fan fiction of all time. The only crossover that really kind of comes close is Turnabout Storm, but that's more of a novelization than a full crossover, because Turnabout Storm was a web series, and then he got me into a fan fiction, which was phenomenal. They're both phenomenal. Just like, it's kind of ironic considering the fact the second best of both my regular stories and my fan and the crossovers are both novelizations, with my regular fan fiction both being Mario. I even reviewed the novelization that my second favorite, Mario and Luigi Bowser, far back. Go read that. Go listen to that. Go read that story, or just watch a let's play of Mario Bowser's Inside Story, because that's pretty much what it is. Favorite part, Valkyrie. I loved the character Valkyrie. There is nothing I have ever seen in literary or fan fiction ever like her. I can't remember who said the quote, but there's a famous quote saying, "Everyone likes a good hero, but everyone loves a great villain." And this is why I really love this story. The character of Valkyrie is so thought out, so articulate, so three-dimensional that it's just staggers the mind how the story doesn't really receive as much praise as it is, especially this one. So, what separates Valkyrie from literally like the first story? What makes her alone better than the first story? Because she's a deconstruction. For those of you, she is. How do I say that? She's sort of a Sue character. Don't go raising the pitchforks. Don't go raging everything. Let me explain first. Let me explain first before you pause the video and complain. There is multiple different types of Sue characters. There's Mary Sue. There's Marty Sue. There's all different sorts. However, just because the character is a Sue character doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. Two examples that I can think of that are Sue characters but are written in a way that you can't help but like them are Saitama from One Punch Man and Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. Saitama is a deconstruction of a Marty Zoo, TZU instead of SUE. Marty Zoo is a Sue character who, while not perfect, when it comes to a fight, he will, no matter what is being thrown at him, he will always win. He will always come out top with barely any effort, which is pretty much the point of One Punch Man. He's a deconstruction of that type of character, especially since the fact most of the fights are really involving everyone but him. Not all of them, but I've seen I've seen like one or two episodes of the anime. I got into One Punch Man, but I'm more into like Dragon Ball Super and Monster Musume right now, and I want to read that when it gets farther along. But most of the fights don't involve Saitama because the author and the fans know that if Saitama is in a fight, he's gonna win no matter what. But he's written in a way that kind of bellies that fact, and that whole anime is revolves around the fact that he wants to find someone who can actually give him a fight, who can actually hurt him, and he can hit him with one punch, and he wouldn't happen. Now, Twilight Sparkle is an example of a black hole Sue. A black hole Sue is someone who's not necessarily perfect, but is always shoehorned into every scene when she's not needed to try and shoehorn every scene. She's always mentioned, she's always seen, like, if you've seen Hurricane Fluttershy, the episode where, they had to get the water from the lake into Cloudsdale, there was really no need for Twilight to be in that episode. There's a lot of episodes that didn't focus on Twilight, that Twilight is there for some reason, or the problem is solved by something Twilight says. She's an example of a black soul too. She's not a perfect character. She's not a true Sue character, but these are Sue characters who are not who are not perfect in every way, but are flawed, but have specific quality that kind of slightly breaches them into the Sue character trope. When Twilight Sparkles is the fact that even the episode doesn't revolve around her, she's always seemed to be like somewhere in this show, even mentioned like for no reason other than the fact that, oh, here's a complimentary Twilight mention. Good on you. Doesn't mean Twilight's a bad character. It's just she's always mentioned and always seen, even when this episode doesn't need her there, or the episode does not need to have her mentioned. Valkyrie is a deconstruction of a villain Sue. She is a villain Sue, which is basically kind of a villainous version of a Mary Sue. She's pretty much that. However, what I meant by deconstruction is we start. That's the keyword. Start as when Valkyrie's introduced. Everyone loves her. She is implied to be perfect. Nothing has gone wrong for her, no matter how hard the universe tried. She's always loved by everyone. It's not hypnotist. It's not. It's just they believe her. It's just everyone in her people to be perfect. She has an underwater base. She's perceived as the ultimate, kind of the opposite of Voldemort. And that's why, and that's pretty much in the story why Harry doesn't trust her, because he thinks it, because that one scene, if it's too good to be true, it usually is, and that's pretty much it. And we see her this perfection. She caused Snape to go defective. She gave Harry's aunt, one of the Dursleys, the mother, magical power. She gave her the ability to she gave Moaning Myrtle a body, despite the fact all the other wizards, including Dumbledore, said that she can't get a body. She did all these, and all these kind of give you the idea that she is perfect, that she will win. She will always come out on top. That's the key. But the key word again is at the start. As the story goes along, and she slowly starts losing it, that facade slowly withers away. She slowly starts losing all those two characteristics. She becomes, if using the trope, a complete monster. But she's trying to keep this facade to everyone, saying, "Oh, she's perfect," but only the readers know that she's breaking. She's breaking inside. She knows she's losing, something that she believes never happened to her before, because she's perfect. She even had the stereotypical villain Sue backstory. But she slowly starts losing that all those Sue characteristics over the course of the story, and she becomes depraved and monstrous, and someone you want to see lose. She's the perfect idea how to do a true villain you want to see lose, a true villain that you're not supposed to like, done completely right. She has no quarrels about. And that's not even getting to her plan. I know I'm going to be spoiling a major part of the story, but the biggest mystery for her is her plan. What is she going to do to overtop Voldemort? Simply, her plan is to give every sentient seat, specifically humans, the ability to be wizards. You heard of this? You heard of the phrase absolute power crafts? Absolutely. There's also a problem. She's doing it through a virus. She's doing it through something of like akin to Agent Orange. Yes, they even name drop. I think they name drop Agent. I know it's somewhat like a bioweapon. She developed a bioweapon that will cause humans to get the ability of wizards, about to use magic, wizards, wands, the whole shebang. The only problem is she'll kill about 60% of the entire population of Earth. So while she's doing this thing, she's also committing mass genocide. Why? All to give one gigantic bird to Voldemort. Yeah, this is what Valkyrie wants to do to Voldemort right here. She wants to fuck him. Not in that way, kick him out of the gutters. But she wants to basically shut Voldemort. She wants to defeat him in the way that no one else thinks. Instead of just being Voldemort, why don't I make everyone wizard? That way he can't kill anyone. But the problem is, not only will 60% of the population die, there's also people who might misuse wizardry for their own truth. Remember, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's what makes Valkyrie, that despite the fact all the other characters still see her as this perfect saint of nobility, and she can't do no wrong, us as the readers and the good guys slowly see her being more depraved, more monstrous, more complete, unsue-like. Sorry, I feel like a burp coming up. Sorry. More monstrous as the story goes along, until at the end she's completely depraved and wants nothing more to kill everyone. She doesn't care about the place. She just wants to murder everyone. The only thing about that I don't like is the final fight. It's not so much the fight itself is not bad. It's just like the rest is immaculately written, but with the build-up being as it is, which is an incredible build-up considering the fact it's like 500,000 words. It's longer than like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's that long. And I read it in like if I remember, I read it like 3 days. I finished in like 3 days nonstop. Maybe if I well, not nonstop. But yeah, I felt that, and this is honestly just me. I felt that it over expectations. Simply as that. It's like with all the build up they had towards the final fight with Valkyrie, it's like it better be that damn amazing that I am wowed away, and then it just that, and it's like that is not bad. It's just I expected a lot more, way more than what I got, and but it's like okay, as a final fight, it's fine. It's a great final fight. It's just I put too much expectations on it. It had to be better. It had to be better than it was. And I'm not telling you fix the Stray X. Don't fix it. Don't fix it just because of me. Don't fix it if you don't want to. I'm not gonna force you to fix it. But this is just honestly me over exaggerating the fight and thinking it was gonna be more than it is. Final thoughts. Voldemort is a butt monkey in the story. I'm not joking. Pretty much all the entry, most, if not all the humorous entries happen to Voldemort. I love that touch. It was funny. It's like here, like some little kids and Amazonian women in a power suit. Oh, here's the Dark Lord of Evil. Kid gets beat up the most. Ha! It's kind of funny, especially since he at this point he's still technically immortal because Harry hasn't died. I think he still has the giant snake. I think he still has. I think he has like one more Horcrux after that. Three during the point in Half-Blood Prince, I think he had like 3 Horcruxes left, which was Harry, the Snake, and I think the Hufflepuff medallion, the one that Umbridge has. I can't remember. Um I haven't read or watched Half-Blood Prince, so I don't really know. Although I really do gotta watch the movie. Uh, I'm getting off topic before I might as well finish things. So, what do I think? Finally, what overall? What do I think? I think it's a damn fine story. I think it's a very vast improvement over Future Destinies 1, and that's saying something because again, Future Destinies 1 is a great story in its own mind. It's just this one is so much better, and I really loved anything. Despite the fact I don't think the third story is not going to be as good as the second story. I want to see Gray X prove me wrong, and I honestly hope he or she does prove me wrong. But that's